I'm Matt McClure, and this is Currents. Monday was a big day for Hispanic Catholics. We'll take you to Brooklyn's celebration for the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
We always do a tradition that I dress up as Juan Diego. The Mary is grateful, and I know that she will love all of us.
Plus, it's an annual pilgrimage from Mexico City to Manhattan. We'll take a look at a film that documents the incredible journey.
Our Lady of Guadalupe is essential to our Christianity, to our beliefs.
And religious and civil leaders come together to push for an historic international agreement to battle climate change.
If we destroy this home, we have had it.
Good evening, thanks for joining us tonight. It was quite a day to celebrate on Monday. Although it was not a holy day of obligation, parishes and dioceses around the world held celebrations for the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. At the Vatican, Pope Benedict took the occasion as an opportunity to officially announce that he would visit two Latin American countries next spring, Mexico and Cuba. It'll be the first time the Pope has visited Cuba since John Paul II visited in 1998. Now, yesterday, Benedict also marked the bicentennial of many Latin American countries that gained their independence from Spain between 1810 and 1825. Well, now here in the Diocese of Brooklyn last night, Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio was the main celebrant at a Mass for the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe at Our Lady of Angels Church in Bay Ridge.
Tonight we're here at Our Lady of Angels Church to celebrate the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Roguemos a nuestro Señor de Guadalupe, que bendice todas las familias que están aquí.
Today is a very special day for the community. For the Mexican community as well as for the Spanish community. It's very important for us. I bring to her everything, and I feel like she has helped me so much, my family, protect us in many different ways.
She represents hope for children, for mothers, for us to be better parents and be better members of our community.
What is special tonight is that we're dedicating a shrine to Our Lady of Guadalupe. There was no image of Our Lady of Guadalupe in the church, but through the kindness of both Mexican and American parishioners, a shrine now will be dedicated tonight.
I believe that Our Lady of Guadalupe would be for the Mexicans who, as you say, are migrating, I guess you'd say a constant thread in their lives, that no matter where they would ever be, Mary is with them at all times in all kinds of circumstances, especially the unpleasant circumstances, the hardships of migration.
The Holy Father made it clear that America was one continent, North and South, and that Our Lady was the patroness of all the Americas. When we take it from that point of view and recognize the common good of the whole hemisphere, perhaps we'll change the laws to reflect that kind of spirit.
Considering what a big part of our lives the Mexican community is here in the United States, you kind of by default become Mexican today because the joy is just joy, no matter what you are. So I am Dominican, I'm from the Dominican Republic, and my children are from Nicaragua.
I never knew the story, but I kind of did.
Today you learned about it.
Yes.
And you learned about Juan Diego.
I have made a promise to bring my son every year, December 12th, dressed as Juan Diego, as an honor for her.
We always do a tradition that I dress up as Juan Diego. The Mary is grateful, and I know that she will love all of us.
All right, and the Archdiocese of Los Angeles and the Knights of Columbus have announced a big celebration slated for next year for Our Lady of Guadalupe. Reports say it'll happen August 5th at the 93,000-seat Los Angeles Coliseum. Now, among the featured speakers there will be Knights of Columbus Supreme Knight Carl Anderson and Monsignor Eduardo Chavez, the co-authors of a 2009 book on Our Lady of Guadalupe. Well, stay with us. There's more currents ahead. A Brooklyn judge hears arguments over access to Plan B. We'll have that story and the rest of the day's headlines next. Welcome back to Currents. I'm Matt McClure. Coming up later, it's an historic climate change agreement, but many people are wondering if it goes far enough. First, though, let's have a look at today's headlines. Well, U.S. bishops say the government has a moral obligation to help unemployed Americans and their families. In a letter to Congress, Bishop Stephen Blair, the chairman of the Bishops' Committee on Domestic Justice and Human Development, urges legislators to find ways to assure the continuation of unemployment insurance and emergency unemployment compensation. Bishop Blair cites data showing the median length of joblessness has reached 10 months now, with economists estimating 4 job seekers for every job opening. Well, the bishops are also urging Catholics to lobby their senators to reauthorize the International Religious Freedom Commission. In an action alert, the bishops say the commission is currently on life support and is surviving only because it's included in a continuing resolution that's set to expire this Friday. The chairman of the commission recently told Catholic News Agency that if the commission's work did not continue, the results could be catastrophic. He says it would send a message to the international community that religious freedom is not a priority in U.S. foreign policy. In other news, a Brooklyn judge was set to hear arguments today over the availability of the Plan B emergency contraception drug. The judge considering the constitutionality of the federal government blocking girls under the age of 17 from obtaining the drug. The Food and Drug Administration ruled last week that a version of that drug should be made available over the counter to anyone of any age. Health and Human Services Secretary Kathleen Sebelius, though, stepped in and overruled that, and that's a move that was applauded by Catholic and pro-life leaders. On to the race now for the White House. Republican frontrunner Newt Gingrich has made a marriage pledge. In a letter to the Family Leader, a socially conservative group, Gingrich said he would uphold the institution of marriage by being faithful to his wife and respecting other people's marriages. The Family Leader has a separate marriage pledge, which 3 of his opponents signed, but Gingrich did not. In his letter, the former House Speaker also said he was fully committed to defending traditional marriage, including enforcing the Defense of Marriage Act, or DOMA, which defines marriage on the federal level as a union of a man and a woman. Gingrich has been married 3 times. He began a relationship with his current wife while he was still married to his second wife. He converted to Catholicism in 2009. At a debate in Iowa this Saturday, fellow candidate Rick Perry brought up Gingrich's marriages, saying, quote, "If you cheat on your wife, you'll cheat on your business partner." Gingrich acknowledged his past mistakes, though he said he had to go to God for forgiveness. Well, meanwhile, the wife of accused late-term abortion Dr. Kermit Gosnell has pleaded guilty to assisting her husband at his Philadelphia abortion center. Pearl Gosnell pleaded guilty to performing an abortion after 24 weeks of pregnancy, 2 counts of conspiracy, and participating in a late-term abortion. Her husband is charged in the death of 7 babies and 1 woman who died of an overdose of painkillers. Authorities allege Gosnell killed the babies by severing their spines with scissors. Well, the investigation of an alleged miracle through the intercession of the late Archbishop Fulton Sheen has concluded, but we may not know the outcome for some time. The Diocese of Peoria, Illinois, where Sheen was raised, held a mass this past Sunday to officially close the investigation. Investigators sent their findings to the Vatican for review. The alleged miracle involves a couple whose son's heart began beating after the baby was stillborn and without a pulse for 61 minutes. The couple began praying to Archbishop Sheen for a miracle. Their son is now 1 year old and healthy. Archbishop Sheen was probably best known as the host of the Emmy Award-winning TV show Life is Worth Living. He was also an auxiliary bishop for the Archdiocese of New York and the Bishop of Rochester. Well, there are details now from Philadelphia on the funeral arrangements for Cardinal John Foley. Archbishop Edward O'Brien, Foley's successor as the head of the Knights of the Holy Sepulchre, will celebrate Mass this Friday at Philadelphia's Cathedral Basilica of Saints Peter and Paul. New York Archbishop Timothy Dolan will preach the homily. Foley, a native of Darby, Pennsylvania, died on Sunday after battling leukemia. He had served as president of the Pontifical Council for Social Communications from 1984 to 2007. He may have best been known to American television viewers for the commentary he provided for the English language broadcast of Christmas Midnight Mass from St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Well, meantime, a Pennsylvania family got its Christmas wish last week, that is, and it was probably one that they were not expecting. Reporter Matt Barcaro has that story.
At Christmas time, children are allowed to indulge their imagination and ask for just about anything under the tree. Eleanor Brower wants a princess. Bella Mack wants a new baby doll. Helena Paul asked Santa for a bicycle. And Abby, Isabel, and Matthew Sager had something much harder to find on their list. Their father, Chris, has been deployed overseas in Iraq since August, his third deployment. They asked Santa for their dad this Christmas, and Santa showed them the door. With a reunion like this, sure, you'd expect their mother, Sarah, to cry, and she did. But so did just about everyone else at the Bass Pro Shop. Can you blame them?
I love it!
A surprise so big, it probably still has not yet sunk in.
I would give up everything I have for my dad. Sorry. It's so cool.
So now that all their Christmas wishes have come true, what will they unwrap on the 25th?
Actually, I've got everything I want right here. I really do.
His family whole again for the holidays.
That is one Christmas gift right there. Matt Barcaro with that story. Well, North Korea is in a less than celebratory mood, though, heading into the Christmas season. According to the Vatican news agency Fides, officials in the communist nation say the Christmas lights placed by South Korean soldiers along the border of the two countries is a provocation. A source tells Fides that authorities in the north fear the cultural influence of the South on residents of North Korea. Now, in North Korea, they're not able to celebrate Christmas. According to the report, North Korean officials say if the Christmas lights lead to unpredictable results, South Korea will be held responsible. And back here in Brooklyn, it was reason to celebrate as Bishop Nicholas DiMarzio held his annual Christmas luncheon. We headed to the festivities in Howard Beach, Queens.
The Christmas luncheon is one of the highlights of the year. It's just a spectacular show of support for the work of the diocese, but it is one of the things I do look forward to.
We started this about 6 years ago to benefit Catholic education. The Alive in Hope Foundation sponsors this luncheon, and we raise every year about $500,000, which is matched 1 to 2 by the Children's Scholarship Fund, which helps us to give out scholarships to about 750 children.
We do need to raise money. At the same time, we need to bring the diocese together so people know what we're doing. They feel good about it. They can see the children today. There's a Christmas pageant presented by the children so they know what they're contributing to. That's very important because people give to people, and you need to see the people who you're helping. Russo's has some of the best food here in Queens and Brooklyn. So we really are very happy. They treat us very well, and they give us a very good price so that we do make a little bit more money.
Today's luncheon is dedicated to Susan Rohan. In fact, it was her idea and inspiration that got this started. She passed away back in September, and she's a great loss to the Alive in Hope Foundation.
Today is a great tribute to all of the organizers, Monsignor Jamie, his staff, and Miriam Martone, who's one of the principal organizers of this every year.
I attribute the success of today's event to our honorees.
I feel wonderful. I'm a product of Catholic education. I went to Catholic grammar school. My children went to Catholic grammar school. The majority of my grandchildren went to Catholic grammar school and high school.
It's hard to stand there up there by yourself because the reality is I work with so many people day in and day out with the sole purpose of doing the right thing, and really we feel it's our responsibility.
This has been a really special experience being here. There's so many people here who do so much for Catholic education. It's inspirational for me.
You're taking people who didn't otherwise have an opportunity to get that education and to take it all the way through 12th grade. It's just tremendous. So I applaud the work that they do, and I'm happy to be a tiny part of it.
You take a look at the crowd that's here, over 1,000 people that have been gathered here for Catholic education. I want to congratulate Bishop DiMarzio for being able in these tough times to bring the people across this great city together. to be able to donate and to put dollars together for education.
By the end of this luncheon, between the raffle tickets and the Be an Angel program and the sponsorships, we will hit $500,000 net.
We depend on people to help people, and this is what's happening here.
Well, great time for a great cause there, and nobody brought me a doggy bag from Russo's. I'm a little upset about that. All right, stay with us. There's more Currents coming up. Coming up, it's no ordinary relay race. It's a journey of faith from Mexico to New York.
She means more to Mexico than just being the Mother of God. She's a companion. She is someone who is with us, a light that guides us.
Welcome back. It is easily one of the most iconic images of Mary, her depiction as Our Lady of Guadalupe. And over the last few days, we've seen that image around the world because she is many things to many different people. Now, Our Lady of Guadalupe is a popular image at rallies and vigils on the life issue because of her title as the patroness of the unborn, but she's also the patroness of the Americas. But as her name may imply, her origins lie in Mexico. And a group of Mexicans celebrate that in a unique way each year with a torch run from Mexico City to New York City. And the story of that run has been chronicled in the documentary Contigo al Norte Guadalupe. We had a chance to find out more at a screening this past spring.
Tonight we're premiering a documentary. It's called Contigo al Norte Guadalupe, which is a documentary about the torch run that is done from Mexico City to New York.
Every year there is a race, a march of Mexicans that come from Mexico City to New York City carrying a torch and the images of the Virgen of Guadalupe.
Our Lady of Guadalupe is essential to our Christianity, to our beliefs. She is, in a way, the mother of our independence. She means more to Mexico than just being the Mother of God. You can say that Our Lady of Guadalupe can be the flag of Mexico as a nation because it's so important. She's a companion. She is someone who is with us, a light that guides us. The essential idea of the torch is that it unites, it gives people hope. In Mexico, the people that run the torch are usually the family members of the people that are here. In Mexico, a mother touches the torch. Some weeks later, the son or the daughter or nephew touches that same torch here in the United States, and he carries the torch, and so on, so on. So it's really an event that brings hope to people.
Todo muy buena carrera. Así como uno tiene que esforzarse.
The story runs around a Mexican young man who went back to Mexico. He was already living in the United States, so he went back to Mexico. He didn't have papers to come back again inside the States. He knew that making the race was going to leave him out of his new place, his new home.
Me decidí más que nada por la fe que tenía yo de ir a hacer la antorcha y las ganas de ir a hacer la antorcha a México. Una protesta porque todos nosotros los inmigrantes venimos aquí a trabajar, a luchar. Y no venimos a hacer desastres, ni a robar nada. Y es un gran riesgo que tomamos y yo sabía el gran riesgo que iba a ser para mí, para volver a cruzar, ¿no? Para mí era muy importante no perder mi fe. Siempre era mi pensamiento a mi madrecita de Guadalupe. Siempre era ella, no perder mi fe. Porque muchos me decían, mira, te dejaron, la carrera ya llegó. Ya ellos están allá felices y tú estás todavía aquí cruzando. Pero nunca perdí mi fe. Sigo con mi fe en alto con ella.
The race is a metaphor of what actually happens with migration. So that's what the film is really about, the migration and what happens every day with the hope of people pursuing a dream by coming here to the States to find a job and a better place to live.
What a journey. Stay with us. There's more Currents ahead. When we return, countries around the globe sign on to a new climate change agreement. But does it go far enough? Finally tonight, the head of the Catholic relief organization Caritas says climate change is a faith issue. Cardinal Oscar Rodriguez Maradiaga took part in the 2-week UN-sponsored conference on climate change in Durban, South Africa. Speaking with reporters today at the Vatican, the Cardinal says the issue is a matter of faith because it deals with God's creation. He says it was important for Caritas to be in Durban because the many people in the world are starving, and that climate change is one cause of that. You know, many who took part in that conference believe there is now a global commitment to address problems and work to find solutions to climate change. CNN's Robin Curnow has that story.
It started with a plea and a prayer.
And whether you are rich or poor, this is the only home. And if we destroy this home, we have had it.
Climate justice now! Climate justice now! A week in, at a protest march outside the climate change conference, activists rallied for deals to be signed that would limit carbon emissions to less dangerous levels. For 2 weeks now, delegates from nearly 200 countries have been talking about climate change. They haven't been here on the beach. They've been locked up in meeting rooms in the conference hall, and now they've come to a decision.
We have indeed saved tomorrow today.
For the first time, the world's biggest polluters have signed up to a global pact on climate change.
First of all, we're committed to getting a long-term overarching agreement in place by 2015, which will kick in by 2020.
Big thing that came out of this negotiation was, for the first time, there's an agreement to negotiate a legal accord of some sort, a legal instrument that is applicable to all countries. That's a new thing. That means China and India and Brazil, and there's no hedging in it.
Also, the Kyoto Protocol was renewed, which increases certainty for the carbon market and provides incentives for new green technology. And progress was made on creating a green climate fund to channel around $100 billion to vulnerable nations to help them deal with the impact of climate change. Deals that were only finalized in the early hours, says the US's chief negotiator, Todd Stern. Okay, so how are you feeling?
Tired. No, we're feeling good, actually. It was a very, very tough negotiation, as tough as any that I've done.
So tough, it was touch and go until the very end.
It's an extraordinarily complex negotiation with a lot of moving parts. Up until the last minute, there was every reason to think it could well have fallen apart. So I think the fact that it came together is in and of itself a success, even if the outcome doesn't fully satisfy anybody, and there's just an enormous amount of work ahead of us.
Activists say the deals aren't ambitious enough, but after years of failure, many believe there's now a historic global commitment to tackle climate change.
There you go, Robin Curnow reporting there, and it does kind of, I guess, all go back to stewardship and how we treat the creation that God's given us. Well, that's all for this edition of Currents. Now, coming up tomorrow, a group of U.S. bishops send a message to the nation's immigrants. Until then, though, be sure and visit us online at currentsny.net. You can also connect with us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter as well. If you have a question, comment, or story idea, feel free to email that to us anytime. The email address is dropusaline@currentsny.net. For all of us here at Currents, I'm Matt McClure. Thanks so much for watching, and have a great night.